Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Just a quick, it's Sunday morning, so that means the bombshells that are being dropped by reporters per normal. My friend Hendrik Cronje has dropped a couple this week. The All Blacks, of course, arrived in South Africa on Sunday morning. Well, Saturday afternoon, I think it was, and they having their first training session on Sunday. We'll have more from them as the week goes on. Of course, they've been in a very, very tough sort of week already. They've lost Ethan de Groot ahead of the Springbok games, so their scrum's definitely going to be tested there. And they've also lost Leon McDonald in a very highly publicised fallout with Scott Robertson. Of course, we've seen this before. It happened the same in Foster's time. We saw also them lose a coach, and they came and they won one of the two tests in Joburg. So that shouldn't be something that should give the Boks too much hope. I think they would probably not see it anyway as such an advantage. They'd rather concentrate on doing what they do, and know if they do their game right, it'll be fine. So let's get to reports bombshells this morning. Of course, three of them in what they're predicting for the selection. Two of them, I must admit, one I did expect, and that was that Stephen Kitsoff might not get game time. He hasn't played much. He's played one game for Western Province since being injured and returning from Ulster. So he's not going to make it into the side. And quite ironically, I thought they would start with Ox and Che, but it looks like they want to give Gerard Steenekamp a go. Now, anybody who's been following Gerard Steenekamp's career knows he's an incredibly powerful scrummer, and certainly somebody who's done his work and done everything the Boks have asked from him. He didn't make it to the World Cup last year, but had an incredible debut against Argentina where he won a number of scrum penalties and has been one of the top looseheads in the URC over the last season. He also scrummed extremely well against Australia when he came on as well, made a vital turnover, and really has been an all-round great player for them. So I'm not surprised that he's there. Dom Himon is somebody who says he packs his lunch well. He knows what he does. He's compact. He likes to bring what he brings, and he's a very quiet, determined character. So as that quiet, determined character, Gerard Steenekamp is certainly no surprise that he's getting a start. I think it's actually great. It's one of the ones I'm really excited about. And without Ethan de Groot, the All Blacks have got two. They've got Tamati Williams, who's very young. He's 24, 140 kilograms, really seen as the future of the All Black scrum. So that's going to be an interesting battle, of course. He's at Doucet, so he'll be going up against, obviously, Frans Malherbe and Vincent Koch. And the other one they've got is Ofa Tuingafasi. Am I saying that right? Anyway, he's played 60-odd tests. There's nothing the Boks haven't seen there before. They've scrummed against him as well. Of course, the Boks will probably revert to type for the rest of the front row. We can probably see, if Gerard Steenekamp starts, you probably see Bongi and Frans Malherbe starting at the same front row with Ox, Malcolm Marx, and Vincent Koch. Some combination of that in the second half, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter, I suppose, from a Springbok point of view. But while it doesn't matter from a Springbok point of view, who starts in the front row, some very interesting selections going on at 8 and 10. The two players that were already given a chance against Australia must have made such an impression on Rassie Erasmus that he feels that he can give them another go. Because report is, and this is obviously if report's true, and I have no reason to believe Hendrik Cronje's information isn't true, because he's normally on the button. Elric Lowe starts at 8, and he had an incredible 2 tests against Australia. Really took his chances, and with Evan Roos out, we all expected Jasper Visser to return from injury, from his suspension, his 6-match suspension, and he's been training with the Boks for the last couple of weeks, so you would have expected him to come in for that. He was Dwayne Vermeulen's understudy, but the Boks seem to feel that it's worth the effort, worth the I won't say it's a risk, but worth the selection to put Elric Lowe in there. If that's the case, it's only going to be because he did a lot of things on that field against Australia that really impressed the Boks selectors. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason why, and it'd be great for him in Joburg and Cape Town. Well, of course, there could be changes for Cape Town, but Elric has been exceptional whenever he's played and has really never taken a step down backwards. He's in great form, and he's really enjoying this, relishing this chance at the Springboks, and it'd be good to see more of him, to be very honest. And I think the All Blacks is the ultimate test for any player. And you can easily measure a player there as well. Of course, the other big news would be Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu starting against the All Blacks. He started the 2 tests against Australia. Some mixed reviews from people. I think he did pretty well. He's continuing his tutelage. He's a youngster. He needs game time. He needs to settle in. And what better test than against the All Blacks? Of course, people forget. Well, everybody thought Andre Pollard is the GOAT, and he is the GOAT in the BOK team at the moment. So we had on our podcast last week, Sways the Brain saying exactly that Andre Pollard is the guy that he would go with because he's just so exceptional. Yeah, listen to what Sways had to say when we chatted to him.
Guys, you answer that to me because I don't know how Rassie does that, but Pollard is our GOAT. He got the kick in the first World Cup against Wales that kept us alive. He came now in the last one. Yes, he should have a statue somewhere in Pretoria or somewhere, and yet he's the GOAT. So I don't know. I don't know the dynamics in the team. I'm not there, but I still. This Sasha is brilliant. He's going to be the guy. Pollard is still the man. He has done nothing wrong that he's not the man. Don't get me wrong. If he's going to move to 12 some games, and Sasha moves in, that's a different story. But to come back to Pollard on the field as a leader there, he's really. Which other fly-offs has won 2 World Cups?
Of course, if you haven't already, please go listen to the full podcast. Sways makes a number of interesting comments about the All Blacks there. And of course, he's one of the great rugby brains in South Africa, so it's always worthwhile listening to him. So he obviously would have selected Andre, but if the Boks go with Sasha, it must be because they feel he's got enough enough experience around him and enough to keep on sort of keeping the pressure on other players, and they want him to develop. So we're better than against the All Blacks to develop as well. Of course, there's no place to hide against the All Blacks. We all know that, but people forget a 20-year-old about a decade ago played in his first game against the All Blacks and started at Ellis Park. A certain Andre Pollard. People forget that as well. So there is precedent for it, and the Boks have certainly not been scared to take some chances. I think the interesting part is that first of all, if Elric goes ahead of Kwagga Smith, that's obviously because they feel Kwagga's better off the bench and offers them more there. Plus, and Sasha ahead of Andre, they've got the insurance of Andre on the bench as well, and what they've shown in the past, they haven't been scared to yank a player off after half an hour as they did in the World Cup semi-final with Manie de Bok. So they've got Andre there, and he can easily come on at any stage, and that would be interesting just to see how they approach the game. Of course, Ellis Park's going to be on the high felt. They want to play a fast game. They're looking to Sasha to play that game. I think the rest of the backline we're probably going to see revert to type. You probably see Vidi at fullback, Cheslin and Curti as the 2 wingers because they've just had so much success, and there's no reason to drop any of those back 3. The midfield will be a conundrum because you'd have to choose between Damon Delenda, Jesse Kriel, Lukanya and Andre Esterhuizen being back from suspension. Although I think the suspension probably hurt Esterhuizen's chances a bit. You probably see that Jesse and Damien, who were the form duo in the World Cup and in the first couple of tests against Ireland and Wales, you probably see them return there. So I don't see any changes there. Kobus Reinach's probably key to start with Grant Williams on the bench, with Faf being out. And there's a video on Faf's recovery. I chat with him last week, which you can have a look at somewhere on this channel as well. But then, the forwards, if Elric's going to play, then you can very much expect Sia and Peter Steff to be alongside him. I'd see Jason Dixon on the bench, see Kwagga on the bench. I don't think they'll go with a 7-1 as some people are expecting them to. They did against the All Blacks in both games at Twickenham and in the World Cup final. But on Ellis Park, it's a very different surface. As I just said, Ellis Park is the type of surface you're going to want to play a fast game on, and we can easily see the Boks going with a 6-2 bench there, because you're going to probably need backline players a bit more at altitude, especially with the guys playing a fast-paced game at altitude. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised at times if we see a 5-3, but I think probably the safer bet is a 6-2 with Kwagga being sort of the hybrid player there. And then Andre being the one and Grant Williams being the other guy on the bench. If you look at it, if you have a full front row of, say, Ox, Vincent Koch, Malcolm Marx, and then you have somebody like Ben Jason Dixon and Quagga, those are 5 players you could probably put in a lock as well. Probably somebody like Salman Marat would be the guy who they'd select there as the third lock. Nicholas Janssen van Rensburg has joined the team, so I'm not sure exactly on his role there, but they're going to look at somebody that can sort of come in and cover that 4-5 role as well. Erkje Snyman will probably be in the starting lineup alongside Ivan Etzebeth, and we've discussed the front row as well. So I don't think there's going to be too many surprises, but this report article certainly says has ruffled the feathers. There's going to be a lot of talking points there. Tell me what you think. Do you think it's a good move by Rassie? Do you think Elrich and Sasha and Gerard Steenekamp deserve their spots? How do you think they're going to do against the All Blacks? What do you think of the All Blacks without Ethan de Groot? How's that scrum going to do? Their key man is obviously Ardie Savea. It's going to be interesting to see how they are, and it's an intriguing setup. And we'll be bringing you all the press conferences and all the selections and a lot more videos this week over the next 2 weeks in Joburg and in Cape Town. So keep an eye out for that. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It's always good. We're trying to keep this channel going, obviously, and give much more rugby feedback and rugby stories and just playing commentary and press conferences. So if you like what we're doing here, please subscribe. It's always great, and I read every comment, so please leave those comments there. Be having a live stream also this week. Keep an eye out for that. You can send me your questions. I'll answer them as best as I can. But we'll announce that pretty soon. Keep an eye on the channel for that as well. Thanks for watching again, and enjoy your Sunday. Cheers.